Hi, Soma. Can you hear me? Hi, Soma. Hiya.
Hi, Amsha. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Sorry, I wasn't there yesterday. I
Oh, it's
had to go
okay.
some.
There's no need to apologize. Sometimes things do happen, so it's okay.
Yeah. Uh, so, what are we going to do today, Unit?
So we did Learning Outcome 3. Did you get a chance to listen to it?
Actually, yes, I did half of it, and the remaining I'll complete it tonight.
Okay, so that's good because you want to keep on track and go as fast as possible. That's why I just recorded it yesterday rather than changing it today. Otherwise, it would have taken us into next week. Your voice is breaking up a little bit. Let's see how it goes, and then I might need to do the WhatsApp thing again that we normally do. So today, I just thought we'll go straight on to Learning Outcome 4 if you're comfortable with that. So, Soma, is my voice clear for you? So what I'm going to do actually is I'm just going to give you a WhatsApp call. We'll talk over there. You can ask me questions over there, and then we'll just record like we normally do. Let's see. Hi. I just thought it's easier doing it this way than.
Yeah, I know why it's always talking, but
Oh, that's good. So we can do it. We'll just record like we normally do, and we'll chat over here, and that's fine. So I was just saying that if you're comfortable with it, we'll just go on to Learning Outcome 4, because Learning Outcome 3 is quite easy enough, and so is the whole unit is actually, to be honest.
Okay, yeah. That I know. I've been through it, so yeah, please go ahead with whatever you're comfortable with. And I just wanted to just for yesterday, I would have texted you, but the situation was very unexpected. So
Oh no, it's okay. No, I understand. It's all right. Things like some things do come up, and I understand completely. And I knew that you either had an internet issue or that something else must have happened because you're always here with me. So no, it's all right.
But Masha, you're so kind. You texted me and then you sent me the recorded version. So,
oh, thank you.
Yes.
I didn't want you to. I didn't want you to miss out because I know you're saying. I remember you saying you just want to go as fast as possible. So if we try, this unit is nice, neat unit, just only lasts a week, but we would have had to go into next week and then something else would get pushed away. So it was the easiest thing to do, to be honest.
Exactly, yeah. So thank you so much for
you're welcome. So I'm going to start the recording on here and then we'll make a start.
Okay.
Right. So we're just going to look at the last learning outcome in managing people in organizations today. So this is learning outcome 4. So we're looking at understand how types of organizational structure and culture impact on individuals and organizations. So we're going to look at a few different structures like product structure, geographical structure, flat structure, but we'll go through that in detail. Then we're going to analyze these structures and the impact they have. So the first is examine different types of organizational structure and culture. 4.2 is analyze the impact of structure and culture on organizations. And then 4.3 is explain how structure and culture influence the behavior of individuals and teams at work. So there's 3 points for today's lesson.
Right.
Okay. So let's make a start. So we're going to look at what the meaning of organizational behavior is. Now, we all know what behavior means. It's how you behave, about how you act for yourself and for others, and how you do certain things. So within an organization, it's how we study individuals and groups and their behaviors and how they relate with one another, so how they work together in an organization to achieve the organization's aims and objectives. So it's what they're doing to work towards that objective. So if that is the deal with behavior, why do we study this in the workplace? Now, there's a few reasons that we study this in the workplace. Now, it's to help us structure the organizational structure. Now, it's the thing with studying it at work is that we're able to understand what a person is like, what they do, how they behave, how they will act. Will they be able to take on a particular project? Can they lead somebody? Or do they just need to be followed and completely given tasks in short? So it just helps us understand exactly what a person or an organization is like. And then we're going to organization structure. And this is the link between the individuals and the authority that's within the structure. So, you know, like the management team, the senior leadership team. So it's a link between them. So how is this authoritarian link managed? Whose responsibility is? How is the communication controlled? What is actually done? So this is what the structure will actually help to put in place. So you know exactly who to go to, which step to take next, so you know which person you can go and speak to if you have a problem, or who's the person, if you have a problem with a managerial person, then who can you speak to that's above that person. So it just gives you a good structure about what route to follow. So why do we have a structure? Well, structures are there actually to give you a clear guidance and responsibility of exactly what needs to be done and what is the process. It helps you know exactly which group does what work and which person is responsible of what area. So we're going to look at some sort of different things that are actually done by different people. So if we look at groups like sales,
Probably every organization has a different structure because their work environment and their achievements are different.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
You cannot compare one organization with the other, and they probably have a different ways of doing it.
Yeah, they sort of they'll follow generic structures. They'll follow some type of structure, but it depends on what structure that is, because there's so many different ones. So there will be something that they match, but it just depends on how many people are in the organization, what route to follow. So that is what it helps to do. So structures are just like they're organizing different separate teams and separate levels of work. So you know that you're the managing director. The next person under you will be your line managers, and under them will be the supervisors. Then under the supervisors will be the people that actually do the production. So people that are actually doing sales and production, or maybe they're in the HR, maybe they're in the accounts. They all different teams, all different groupings within their own structure. So when we do this, we would think about what is your own organization structure. Now, I can tell you from a standpoint of an educational establishment, we have the local education, we have the government, then we have the local education authority underneath them, and then we have our board people, so our board members, who are actually the people that actually oversee that things are happening in a way that they should be happening. And then you have the managerial, so head teachers, assistant head teachers, and under that will be senior leadership team. Under that will be teachers and teaching assistants, and then under that will be administrative. So that is a structure within one establishment. So you just get to see what is a structure within the business that you're in. And then we're just going to look at the different types of structures. Now, like I said before, we've got a few structures here. We've got the tall structure, the flat structure, the product or brand structure, and the geographical structure. Did you have a question, Salma?
No, I just found them really funny. Tall structure, flat structure,
yeah.
geographic.
It is, isn't it? You sort of... It does. You'll see the images soon as well, and you'll see that they actually match the names.
Exactly.
So we've got structures which we're going to look at, but we've got hierarchical organizations. So hierarchical, think of a pyramid and think of somebody that's on the top. So the hierarchy, that is the person that is at the top, and then you're working your way downwards. That's what we mean by hierarchy. So in a hierarchical organization, employees are ranked at different levels. So each person is above the other. So like it's working its way up into a pyramid right to the top, where somebody who's leading the company, say the CEO or the managing director or the owner of the company, is right at the top of that pyramid. This is what happened yesterday as well. Some of my images disappeared. I'm just going to reload this because it shouldn't be doing this. It will just be a moment. It's slowly but surely making its way there. Get ready. It's almost there. It's just loading up now.
No problem.
Thank you. We had this issue, you might have noticed in the recording yesterday as well. Some of the images didn't come up, so I reloaded it and then they came up, but it's important that you see those. So, which is why I'm doing it again today.
Okay. You should also keep on checking your recycle bin. You should just empty that.
Oh, I did that actually once I spoke to you last time. I really cleared my laptop off. I got rid of a lot of junk. And it did speed it up. I think it's just that we're using a lot of internet at the moment. We've got a few Zoom lessons going on for the kids. So.
So we have a holiday tomorrow. It's a 3-day Pakistan.
How long is it? 3-day holiday?
No, it's a long weekend then.
Oh, very nice.
Friday, and we are off on Tuesday, and then Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday off. So
the best type of holiday, a long weekend.
Yeah.
It's coming up slowly but surely. So I might do is just do it from here. Now, what I'm going to do is, because the internet's being a little bit slow, I'm just going to keep it on here as it is, because that seems to be the best format. Now, what we're talking about hierarchical organizations. So we've got an example on this image here. It just shows you've got at the bottom your operatives or your support staff. Then you've got your supervisors above them. Then you have managers and your owners or directors. Now, the operatives, they just carry out the basic functions. So they're the production line, they're the sales staff. So they're there to do the day-to-day running of the business. Supervisors have a daily responsibility, so they're actually looking after their team. These operatives and support staff are under them, so they're in charge of those people. Then the managers, they're in charge of a particular area of business. It might be finance, it might be marketing, it might be advertising. So they're in charge of a particular area. And then at the top of it, you've got owners and directors. So they're in charge of the overall running of the business. And now we're going to go into what a tall structure is. Now, a tall structure is something that you'll just notice, instead of going in a pyramid way, it goes right from the top, and it's got a lot more layers in it. So all of these structures, they've got the similar type of layers in it, where they've got support staff, they've got supervisors, managers, and owners. But with a tall structure, you might have a lot more people within that. So the advantages of a tall structure is there's good coordination of activities, there's uniformity throughout the organization, there's clear channels of communication, so they're communicating a lot easier because they've got people that are directly above them, but there's not too many people within the organization, so they all know that they've got a particular task that needs to follow, and they know who to go to speak to if they have any issues, or if they want any help, or if they just want to talk about it. In a tall structure, everybody has got their own established job roles, and they've also got an opportunity for promotion. So people know within the structure, I can get promoted. I am able to work myself up. The disadvantages that is bureaucratic. It's quite governmental. It's quite old-fashioned. There's long channels of communication. So you can't just decide, right, I'm going to go speak to the owner of the company today, because getting to that person, you have to go through a lot of different people. If there's a decision that needs making, it can't be made quickly. It's very slow, because your message or that decision is getting passed through different layers of people until it gets to the person that needs to say yes or no, and then it's coming all the way back down. So it's very slow when you're doing decisions. And the operatives and support staff might feel less significant because they feel like they're at the bottom of the chain, that they're the lowest of everyone within the company.
Okay, I wanted to ask, this only is can be implemented in UK, right? Because
no,
the structure probably won't work anywhere else.
No, it's within the whole world. It can be operated in any country, these structures.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's companies that you'll see later on that are not based in the UK, that they're based in different countries. So that's where they can be operated from.
Okay, and these are probably the structure is workable in government organizations where you need a long channel of communication and slow decision making.
Yeah, that's right. There's going to be quite a few members of people, quite a few people in the structure, but the people that do the decisions, it has to be filtered through lots of different people. So it's just not one person saying, yes, we're going to do it, this is okay. The decision is getting made, they're having meetings, they're talking about it, it's filtered through lots of different people That's why it's a slow decision-making process. Now, if my internet is fast enough, I'll show you an image of a tall structure, actually.
Nice. Manchester has a totally sunny weather. That's a blessing.
We're a bit, it is sunny, but it's still drizzly, a bit drought. It just looks, oh, you've come up with buildings. Let's get this. It's okay, it's better than it has been for the past few days. There you go, here's one. So it's like the managing director at the top, and then you got managers, and then you got all the staff level, and this could be even longer. So this is it's not as tall as normal tall ones are. They can be even more expanded down, going right down to the bottom. That's what we mean when we're saying that there's a tall structure there. So if you look at we'll look at flat organizations later. This is a flat one, and that's the decision-making process goes through all of these people here.
At the bottom.
At the bottom, yeah. So the flat is at the bottom, which we'll go through soon, but this is the tall one, so you can see the difference between both of them. So this one's got more channels of decision-making, so this takes a lot longer for someone to say yes or no. But this one, all these people report to one person, so that person will say, yeah, okay, that's fine, or they'll say, no, we're not going to try this today.
I guess that also happens with the army, like even in Pakistan.
Yeah, that's true.
You have to, even if you want to get membership in the South, that takes like probably 2 months for the security clearance.
Yeah.
And that.
It's because it's going through so many different departments, and so many different people are looking at doing one person will do one check, another person will do another, then there'll be a physical check that'll happen, then a medical check, so everything takes ages. It takes a very long time to go through. So you're right, that is a structure there as well.
Aren't there any examples for tall structures like?
Yeah, there is. We've got some examples just towards the end, which I'll show you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's actually on the next slide that we show you some examples of them. So then we've got the tall structure there, and then we've got a flat structure. So just think tall, as in like a very tall building, a skyscraper in the way. And then think of a flat structure like a short, fat building. So you can think, so with the flat structure, like I'm saying, like a short, fat building, there's a lot of layers to this, but there's lots of layers in the hierarchy if it's tall. So there's lots of people that you're going up the chain to. But if it's flat, they've got less layers. So as you can see, so over here we've got the chain of command. So we've got the person in charge. This chain of command is a lot shorter than it is in the tall one. So you've just got one person who's, say, the CEO of the company. And then you've got those 3 squares there. They're the managers. Under each manager, you'll have a group of supervisors and a group of workers. So you know, if you're at the bottom there, you're a worker, you have to speak to your supervisor. They'll speak to the manager, and then you'll go straight to the top. Rather than you going up 10 different people to get to the owner, you're only going up two people to get to the owner to speak to them. So a flat structure has fewer layers, but it's got a wider span of control. So it's more spread out. You've got more workers under you. Now, the disadvantage of this flat structure is that it can limit growth because the organization has more layers. As more layers are added, functions can get blurred because all of these here, this might be the CEO and this might be his 3 different companies. He might have a mechanical company, an advertising company, and a finance company. Now, within each company, he's going to have an advertising team, he's going to have a finance team, he's going to have a marketing team, and he's going to have a production team. So this one person owns 3 production teams, 3 finance teams, and so on. So jobs are getting doubled. So these jobs here, they'll be the same as each other within a different business that that person might own, or different production that that person might own. So we've got a bit of an example which will follow. So we've got...
Isn't it hard to handle that structure because there are so many teams that they need to supervise?
Exactly, yeah, that's what the problem is. That because as you're adding more and more layers, it gets even harder to handle because you're doubling. You've got more than one of the same teams available within each production, so it can be an issue, yeah. So we've got an example here of Unilever. Now, Unilever is a company that they sell personal care things like body sprays and laundry detergents. They sell frozen foods. They sell soap. So these are all the companies that are within Unilever, like Flora Butter, so there's food products. There's Lipton Tea. So there's a food company within them. There's a laundry detergent company. They've got personal care like Dove soap. So all of these are underneath them. Now, the issue with this is that each Unilever will be at the top of the flat structure. So if you go back here, the owner of Unilever is here. This will be the food company that he has. This will be the personal care company that he has. And this will be his detergent or his laundry care company. Now, he's got within these three companies, he's got a whole load of team workers that will make the items. Then he's got supervisors that are doing the same thing. And within those teams, he's got somebody that will be managing all the wages. So 3 different organizations within him. And he's got a finance company, a finance. So 3 teams that handle wages. Then he's got 3 teams that handle production. He's got 3 teams that handle advertising and so on. So as you're saying, it can get difficult to manage and the jobs are getting duplicated.
So that means all the top brands in the world, they work in flat organizational structure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think all of them do. Most of them do because it depends on what sort of companies they have. Like Nestle, they have lots of different things that are underneath them. So I was surprised to learn the other day there was a company that I thought only did, like Dyson. You know, we've got in the UK, all they used to do was sell hoovers, but now they've gone into hair care. So they're selling all these fancy hair dryers and straighteners and things. So they do lots and lots of different things that you don't really expect them to do. So yeah, a lot of the higher companies that have got lots of different makes underneath them, they do have a flat, they do follow the flat organization, yeah.
Okay. That's quite a knowledge that we are getting today.
Yeah.
I never knew.
I know, it's one of those that you don't really think about, is it? Until you start going into the business world.
Exactly.
No, we've got advantages and disadvantages of this as well, of the flat hierarchy. Now, the advantages are that there's shorter channels of communication. Like I told you, there's not going to be 10 different people that you need to speak to before getting your decision made or before speaking to the owner. You're just going to go up and it's easier and quicker to get a conversation with somebody in charge. So you've got faster decision making because there's less people that are making decisions. So it goes straight to the top. You've got more responsibility for the managers. So the managers are actually working harder because they're trying to increase motivation and they're in charge a lot more. And it's more cost effective. So you're not having to go through 20 million different people. You're just going through a certain amount and it's easier to manage these people. Now, there is disadvantages. Now, there's less control or coordination. So like I said, if you own 3 different products, you've got a food company, you've got a personal care company, and you've got a detergent company where you sell cleaning products. Within each of those companies, you've got different accountancy departments, you've got different production departments. So it might not be easier to control everybody, you know, at the same time. you've got wider areas of responsibility because you've got so many different teams. You've got more, each person has more responsibility on their head. It can lead to inefficiency because maybe someone's getting too much of a workload or they're not able to manage things well. So it can go over them. And then there's fewer opportunities for promotion because there's not that many roles in it. So because you know that these are fixed roles, to get from production worker to supervisor, and there's only one supervisor that is managing 100 people. If there's more than one of you trying to get to that supervisor role, you know that it's not going to be possible. So you can get low feelings and low morale because of it.
I guess these jobs are commission based for sales and, you know.
I mean, it depends. Not every business is commission based. I mean, you can get rewards just as a basic reward that is to show that you achieve your sales target. Will give you an award, reward. Sorry. Commissions based is if you sell each product you sell, you're going to get a commission out of it. So you get a percentage of that sale. So some companies do that. Like in America, they have people that will go door to door and they're selling hoovers or food containers, and those people will sell it to you, for example, for £20, and then they might make £5 out of each sale. So they're only going to make what they're making in commission. So they might not have a fixed rate of pay that they're getting, so they have to work on a commission basis where the amount of things that they sell, they'll get a percentage, and that's how they make their wages. In most of the companies that I'm aware of, in these type of structures, in these more established companies, you're actually set on a wage that you're getting paid what you're getting paid for. If you do above and beyond, there might be rewards and incentives that they give you, but mostly it's just your wages that you get. So it's a fixed rate.
Right, and that's why they are more cost effective. That's the advantage of that.
Yes.
Hierarchy.
I mean, there's advantages of being commission-based as well, because you know that if you hire me and I know that I need to sell 10 hoovers in a day to make enough money to pay my mortgage, or if I need to have enough money to have food and clothes and all that, then I'm going to work really, really hard, and I'm going to try and, sell these items because I want the money out of it. So there's advantages to both things, but I think it's more stability in being on a wage than it is to be on a commission. And then we've got our next structure, which is product or brand structure. Now we've got a brand, which is Hewlett-Packard, and these people sell printers. So they sell printers, and they've got different.
Can you please? Can you please pronounce this again?
Hewlett-Packard.
Hewlett-Packard. Okay.
We just call them.
Is it which?
We call them HP.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's HP. I never knew. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's what in UK. That's what we call them. That's what they call themselves for short. But because it's such a strange name, we just say HP.
That's such an interesting piece of information I got from you today. Thank you.
Yeah, it's very strange, I know. But HP actually
Is it an English name or a German or a Spanish?
I think it's a German name. I've never really looked into it. I might do a quick search on that actually. I'm pretty sure it's not an English name.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like an English name.
Let's see where it originated.
My phone battery is going down.
Oh, it's actually a Californian. It's two men. One was called Bill Hewlett and David Packard, and they actually worked together. It's two Americans that did this. These are just two surnames that they've put together. So two people that made this company, and yeah. So that's interesting. Even I didn't know that. So some things that we learn every day.
So they're American.
Yes, two American men that work together.
Probably like son of seen us.
Yes.
Pakistan, like
yes.
Two sisters or cousins.
Yeah, the clothing the ladies, yes. So
Okay.
So we've got HP. Now they've got a load of different. Now they actually started off by doing electronic test equipment. So they're most famous for having printers and laptops. My laptop is a HP. So that's how I know them. So they've got imaging and printing group. So they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different companies. They've got imaging and printing group. They've got personal systems group. So that'll be things like computers and laptops, I'm guessing. They've got an enterprise systems group. So that will be like TVs and DVD players and all that. HP services. So they've got a service group where obviously all these equipment that they're selling, there's a group of services where they will go out and fix things or repair them or replace them for you. And then they've got financial services. So these are the companies that are underneath HP. And obviously within these will be different structures of lines of control. Now there's advantages and disadvantages to this as well. So for a brand structure, now we've used HP as an example, they've got a clear focus on the market segment, so they know. Now, you might learn later on about segmentation, and that just means about what the where people are based, what are customers, what age are they, how much money do they spend, what sort of family dynamic do they have? Are they single people? Are they married couples? Are they people with families? So they look at this segmentation to see what their customers are, and they focus on their needs, and they'll see there'll be laptops and equipment that is just available for a single person to use. Say for a student that's maybe studying in high school, they don't need too many programs like fancy ones, but they do need all the word programs like Microsoft Office, Excel, Link, and all of those. So they work towards what is needed for their customers, and they can focus on it. They can have positive competition between divisions. Now they've got a few divisions here. They've got a, let's go back, they've got imaging and printing group, and they've got a personal systems group. Now they can have a competition between them, and they can say, right, let's see who makes the most sales this month, or let's see who is going to make the most profit within 6 months. What's your turnaround? Let's try and beat the other company. So they try to have positive competitions. They can control, they have better control as each division acts separate from the other. So they've all got their separate profit centers. So they're not actually, even if they have a competition between each other, they're not marked off against each other. They standalone sections, and they've all got their own separate profits. So the profit from the imaging and printing section is not going to be the same as the profit from the HP services. So they're able to act separately. Again, there's disadvantages to this again. So you've got a duplication of functions. So you've got more than one function in this. So you've got like within each section, you've got different sales companies, you've got different accounting departments, you've got different advertising departments, you've got different call centers within each one as well. So that might be an issue.
How come they are duplicated, the functions? Because they are dealing with the same thing.
Yeah, because I'm going to go back to this image here. So if you look at this image, now HP is the owner, but each of these is treated as a separate company. Even though they're all the same thing and they're owned by the same people, by the same owners, all of these sections, the easiest way to understand it is as if they're their own same as if they're all separate companies. Now these are actually just departments, but they're treated like different companies. Now the accountants people that will manage the wages and the finances and how much things will cost will only work for this company here. And they're not going to have one accountant managing all of these. They're going to have separate ones, are going to have their own accountants. They're all going to have their own call centers because they're treating them like separate companies, which is easier for them to manage because then they've got their own structures within each other. So they're not having to say to one person, oh, I want you to look at the HP services accountancy today. So at the end of the month, if there's one team of accountants who were dealing with wages for all 6 departments or all 6 companies, it will be too much. There might be too much workload. They might need too many people. So this way, they're able to separate it and control them separately. But then obviously you're having duplication of functions because you're paying more than one accountant team, you're paying more than one call center team. But it might obviously, for them at that time, it's positive for them to have those people in different companies because they act as standalone. But within a profit view, it can be a bit of a negative effect. Now, sometimes you can have positive competitions, but there can be negative effects as well. So it's when people might try and force sales or be pushy, or they thinking why can't we make as much as them, or they just don't control things the way they should do. So especially if they're trying to focus on getting new business, and if they're being quite aggressive with their clients, that will be a negative effect. And then obviously there's lack of central control over each separate division. So everyone's in their own particular house or particular building. So there's not much of a control within the whole overall, as if you would have a flat structure where you'd only get straight to the top. With this way, you're going through lots of people, and then you're going out of the division to speak to the owner.
So I guess this structure is the most difficult one.
I think so. I think it is. It's the most diverse one. It's the most spread out one. I mean, there's advantages in the fact that every section, every different division, every little section is run on its own. So you're not depending on another division doing something for you, or you're not having to run around trying to find somebody else from a different department. With this, you're all controlled in one area. But then those have their own problems as well, because you might be wasting a lot more money as an organization. Having all of these things are separate.
Then you can't tolerate a competition with another brand like the Nova.
Yeah, that's true.
I wonder how they can sell more products.
I think instead of on products, I think it depends on what your profit margin is. So if you sell a laptop that's only taken you, say, £150 or £200 to develop, but you're selling it for £1,000, you've got a bigger profit margin. So you can sell less laptops and make more profit. But for a printer, a maximum amount that I would pay for a printer, would be between £50 to £70. And there are more ones, but for something I would need to use. Now, if the printers cost them about £40 to make, and I'm only paying £70, they're getting less profit margin. So that can be a negative effect where they're saying we have to sell more to make more profit, yet they only have to sell a few amounts and they've already beat us. So that can be an issue in that case. Is going on to. So geographical structure. Now HP's headquarters are actually worldwide. They've got 3 headquarters, and they're actually, so there's not just one headquarter managing everything. All of these have their own separate divisions that they manage. So HP has headquarters in America. So they've got it in Houston, Texas. They've got it in the Middle East, Europe, Africa. So they've got it in Geneva, Switzerland there. And then they've got it in the Asia Pacific, that's in Hong Kong. So they've got 3 headquarters in 3 different countries that will deal with all of these. So obviously a different division will be under each headquarter. Now the geographical structure, the advantages of this is, if you've got a headquarter that's within your own country, it will understand its locals and it will also serve them better. So they'll know what the needs of these people over here are. Do they want really expensive items, or do they want cheap items that will, that will just do basic functions? Do they want really fancy things with Face ID or a fingerprint technology, or do they just want to log on and, get on and do basic typing for work? So they'll understand what needs happening. Now they can have positive competition within their divisions. So because they can understand what the locals need better, they understand their departments, and they can set it in a way that is positive for them. And then they can actually communicate more between the firm and also business customers. So they can communicate between the people that work within the business and also the customers that are local to them. So that's why it's a good idea to have a headquarter within a certain country that you might deal with a lot more. The disadvantages are you might have some sort of governmental issues. So local and central management can be an issue. So import-export rules might change over those. There might be some new acts and policies, legislations that have come into effect. So you might not be able to do certain things. Things to do with equality and diversity. What do they call it? Pay Act. So are you getting paid the right amount? Are you giving your employees the correct amount of pay? So there's a lot of employment law. There you go. So there's a lot of acts and things that will come into it that you need to make sure you're following. And that might be an issue between the government and the company. And then again, like we said before, there's duplication of resources and functions. You've got the same type of departments and work going on between your different divisions.
That's really tough, I think. Geographical structure is the toughest to deal with.
Yeah. It's just that when you're in a different country, you've got to follow their rules, and if you don't end up following their rules as a business, then you're going to get a lot of issues coming up with it, which is what a lot of companies do find. And then we go into organizational culture. So this is where organizational culture is where you actually look at the image of the organization, the style of it, what is its values, do they put the customers first, do they put the staff first, have they got like a certain color of uniform? So we've got a company called Tesco and they wear, if I remember correctly, blue uniforms, and customers will be walking around in the shop and so will the staff, but you can recognize who's the staff member just by the uniform. Do they have like a logo on their shirt? So that is what we count as image. So for examples of this is things like, do you have customer orientation? Is what they do? Do they believe in their own quality? Are they doing any rewards? Now, with Tesco, I go there quite a lot, unfortunately. It's very expensive for me to go there. But whenever I go there, I've got a card that I scan every time. And it's just a reward card. So every time I spend a certain amount of money, I get a point per pound that I spend. And then those points will gather up and say at the end of 3 months, I can spend those points. I can transfer it into, say, money. And then I can spend it against my shop. So that's a reward for me that I know that I'm spending my money in here, but I'll end up getting something back at the end of it. Do they have good offers? Are they doing price matching? So those are some cultures that they can follow.
That's the same thing we do over here. Like when there's this product called KNS, we get all these chicken nuggets and burger patties and all. So we get points whenever we get a delivery, and then by the end of 3 months or 4 months, you can get 3 packages.
Yeah.
Those points. So that's I think that's a good way of selling your product to attract customers.
100%, because then you want, and it's the way that you want to go back. I'm going to eat food, I'm going to order out today. So then you think, I might as well just order from here because I know I'll get something free in a month, or why waste my money? I'd rather get my points for it. Is what we've got something like that with KFC, which is a chicken fried chicken place. So you go there, you got an app on your phone, you can go and scan it, and you've got some offers. You can have this thing for free, or you can collect your points, the same type of system. Now we're going to continue with aspects of culture. So again, like I was saying, symbols, artifacts, the colors of your company, the logo. And now you'll notice that when we do our PowerPoints, every single PowerPoint that you've seen for us as UK Versity is blue. We've got this logo here, our UK Versity emblem. the graduate with his glasses on. And then we've got all of our layouts are the same. We'll go dark blue, light blue, white. So these are the colors that we follow within University. And then we're going to talk about Tesco. So this is just what Tesco says. This is on their website, and this is how they're showing you what their culture is. So I'm just going to read through this. So at Tesco, we support each other by sharing what we know, working as a team, enjoying work, and when it's time to celebrate, doing just that. They'll celebrate. So lots of companies say they're a fun place to work, but our values back it up. So just as we listen to our customers, we listen to what our staff want to. And this is what we call our people promises. Now, this is from an advertisement that they actually made when they're applying for a job. So they want people to come and work for them. So they're saying that they will be treat employees. So they promise to treat you with respect. You will have a manager who will help you. You'll get an interesting job, and you'll get an opportunity to be promoted. And there's 3 words that they like about their culture. So better. So they're better for their customers. They help them with their experience. And that means the customers want to keep coming back. So loyalty. It's simpler for staff. And it makes them more efficient, and they have less stress because it's an easy, well-processed work environment. And then it's cheaper. So if they keep their customers loyal and their staff happy, it's cheaper for them because the customers will keep coming back and staff will want to stay with them and work with them. And then we've got, we're talking about types of culture. So we've got power culture. This is where decisions are made by the owners and the management team. So these are the people at the top of the control, and they're making the decisions. They've got a role culture, is where they have all the roles and responsibilities are clearly defined. So they're telling you exactly what you're meant to do, what you need to do, so there's no confusion. You know what your role is. So you've got stability in your role, and you're not taking as much risk because you know what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. And then you have...
Are you on a different slide, Aksha? Because
I'm on types of... Oh, can you? I'm on types of culture. Let me...
Okay, no, I can only see slide number 12.
Okay, what I'll do is I'm going to just send you a quick... I'll send you a photo of it because it might be lagging. Let's see.
Okay, that's all right. It's okay, please carry on.
It'll take a second for me to send it. I've sent that photo to you, and I'll just do that. There's only got 3 more slides left now, so I'll do it for the last 3. And then we've got task culture, and this is a culture that emphasizes on your solving your tasks. So you've got a task, you've got a project, you need to meet this deadline. So this task culture will focus on you meeting that, making sure that that job gets done. And then you've got a personal culture, and this actually focuses on your skills. So what are you good at? What skills do you have? So you might be an accountant or a lecturer or an architect. So you will be working towards what your skills are. Now, me being a lecturer, you wouldn't expect me to go and work in accountancy because I wouldn't know what I'm doing. So you've got to have the right people in the right job if you want them to succeed. If you don't, then put them wherever you want. And then on the last slide, which I'll give you a quick photo of as well, we're on the factors that influence individual behavior at work. Now, we've got things like extroversion. So people, this is where a person is outgoing, or they're sociable, they're friendly. I think we did something like this when we were doing personal effectiveness as well. It just talks about what their behavior is like. So they're very outgoing, they're very chatty, they're cheerful, they want more excitement. Then you've got somebody who's agreeable, somebody who's good-natured, they're cooperative, they have a good morality, they're trusting, but sometimes maybe they can be too agreeable. Maybe they'll say yes to everything and then suffer later on because they've got too much work to do. Conscientiousness, This is to the extent which someone is responsible, how organized they are. What sort of sense of duty do they have? Will they walk away? So I'm just reconnecting to Selma, who will be a moment. Okay, I can't seem to reconnect to Selma, but we're on our last 2 points as it is, so I'll just finish with these two. So as I was saying, conscientiousness is about your sense of duty, about how self-disciplined you are, how careful you are, and how dependable you are. And then emotional stability is just to the degree about which you're relaxed. Hi, Selma.
Hi.
Hi.
Again, actually, my phone's battery is died.
Ah. It's okay. We're on our last 2 points anyway, so then we'll be able to finish off. I was just going on to was talking about what people are like, and that's how it influences work. So we're on conscientiousness. It's about that just means about how responsible a person is, or how organized they are, or what sort of sense of duty that they have, and how dependable or disciplined they are. And then you've got emotional stability about that just means about how relaxed someone is, or how secure they are, and it might be on the other way as well. They might be very insecure, they might be a very worried person. So it just depends on what type of emotional stability a person has. So you can have anxiety, rage, depression, being vulnerable. So these can be within emotion. And then openness is about how somebody is curious, imaginative, and intelligent there. So that was it for there. I'm going to turn the recording off, and then we can have a little talk.